change is the global phenomenon of climate transformation characterized by the changes in the usual climate of the planet regarding temperature, precipitation, and wind that are sometimes especially caused by human activities. As a result of unbalancing the weather of Earth, the sustainability of the planet's ecosystems is under threat, as well as the future of mankind and the stability of the global economy. Weather is the state of the atmosphere, its temperature, humidity, wind, rainfall, and so on over hours to weeks. It is influenced by the oceans, land surfaces, and ice sheets, which together with the atmosphere form what is called the climate system. Climate, in its broadest sense, is the statistical description of the state of the climate system. What are the reasons for climate change? Humans are increasingly influencing the climate and the Earth's temperature by burning fossil fuels, cutting down forests, and farming livestock. This adds enormous amounts of greenhouse gases to those naturally occurring in the atmosphere, increasing the greenhouse effect and global warming. The following are the causes of climate change. The main driver of climate change is the greenhouse effect. Some gases in the Earth's atmosphere act a bit like the glass in a greenhouse, trapping the sun's heat and stopping it from leaking back into space and causing global warming. Many of these greenhouse gases occur naturally, but human activity is increasing the concentrations of some of them in the atmosphere, in particular order: carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and fluorinated gases. Causes for rising emissions: burning coal, oil, and gas produces carbon dioxide and nitrous oxide. Cutting down forests, deforestation, trees help to regulate the climate by absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. When they are cut down, that beneficial effect is lost and the carbon stored in the trees is released into the atmosphere, adding to the greenhouse effect. Increasing livestock farming. Cows and sheep produce large amounts of methane when they digest their food. Fertilizers containing nitrogen produce nitrous oxide emissions. Fluorinated gases are emitted from equipment and products that use these gases. Such emissions have very strong warming effect, up to 23,000 times greater than carbon dioxide. 2011 and 2010 was the warmest decade recorded, with global average temperature reaching 1 to 1 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels in 2019. Human-induced global warming is presently increasing at a rate of 0.2 degrees Celsius per decade. An increase of 2 degrees Celsius compared to the temperature in pre-industrial times is associated with serious negative impacts onto the natural environment and human health and well-being, including a much higher risk that dangerous and possibly catastrophic changes in the global environment will occur. For this reason, the international community has recognized the need to keep warming well below 2 degrees Celsius and pursue efforts to limit it to 1.5 degrees Celsius. We have already knew what is climate change is all about. What are the reasons why climate change occur and what are the cause and effect of climate change? At this juncture, I am going to propose the action plan that I think is surely efficient and helpful for everybody to prevent such happenings. The objectives of formulating an action plan is to ensure the success of climate change mitigation and efforts in the community, which will become very helpful for every one of us and very beneficial for everybody. Number one, help promoting and emissions reducing policies. Policies that reduce the risk to people's health and well-being while simultaneously reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Emergency and disaster preparedness, supporting the identification of vulnerable population and gaps in infrastructure in order to adequately prepare for the impacts of climate change. For number three, supporting healthy and resilient communities, enhancing the capacities of communities to anticipate their climate risks and reduce impacts on health and well-being in their communities. Number four, education and capacity building, educating and raising awareness of the health impacts of climate change within the health workforce and to wider in every Philippines community. Leadership and governance, establishing effective governance arrangements which facilitate horizontal and vertical collaboration in implementing climate change in health initiatives at the national level and advocating and demonstrating leadership internationality on action to address the health impacts of climate change. Number six, a sustainable and climate resilient healthcare sector, a low zero carbon and environmentally sustainable climate resilient health sector which can effectively respond to the health impacts of climate change. For number seven, research and data, supporting Philippines' health and climate capacity to evaluate specific health threats, priority needs, and monitor trends and opportunities for maximizing multi-sector benefits. The population has more power than it realizes to demand measures from government to raise global awareness of the global warming problem. Think globally, act locally. Your actions are needed in the fight against climate change. Can you think of any other things to do? Do not hesitate to do the things that you do will bring change. Do not let your age hinder your advocacies to create change. The youth is the hope for a better future. Prove it all by slowly showing the world how the youth can rule and lead. We create changes. We are the change.